So perfectly. Like, it doesn't look weird at all. It looks like that's how he just came out of the box. You know, it just he just looks like that's just normal. Like, he woke up, kind of combed his beard down a little bit, and just went to work.
I hope we see Underworld someday with mutated goblins. It'd be fun.
I would be
Shit,
thrilled.
you can rotate them.
Audio.
Like that's how he just came out of the box. Perfectly. Like, it doesn't look weird at all. It looks like that's how.
Oh, looty-doo.
8 people are just watching the screen, going, "When's it gonna start? When's it gonna?" Oh, jeez, everyone's already there.
Anybody hear this sound? 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 How about now? Nothing. It's the moment of silence. All right, so you're not live yet. Audio's not live. But I'm going to release you. All right. Yeah, meaning that there's 6 minutes left until kickoff. You will not be able to talk to me. But you can talk to the amongst yourselves, and it will be broadcast. I don't know. No, he's ready if you send just a on Discord. He said he's ready if you send him a thing. I can do it. But players, not anymore. Now you guys know what's happening, right? So the grunts are going to forego their first turn entirely. We're going to sit for 2 minutes and do nothing. Whether we win, yes, that's what's going to happen.
Hello, everyone. More shots here with with Sturm in the booth. We have Resner Rules You on one sideline, and Serious Jess is running a bit late. He got caught up with some traffic. Somebody toppled a cart over, spilled a bunch of apples. Quite a mess on the 407. We do have the Grunts game versus Dignity coming up shortly here. We have heard rumors from the locker room that there may be a not necessarily a protest, but the Orc players are rumored to be taking a moment of silence for their fallen leader and star thrower Leroy Jenkins. Sturm, have you heard anything on this, or is it just limited sources?
Yeah, just on the chat on Discord, a little bit of the preach being very solemn. Going to have a nice little ceremony for Leroy Jenkins, one of the most popular Orc players in the MML pros, obviously. Not much response from Coach Seston and Dignity about whether they're actually going to partake in the same tribute to Leroy Jenkins, the great Leroy Jenkins.
Yeah, he was definitely a leader and well respected in the league. A lot of these Orc teams have been around for quite a while. Have a lot of fans in that. We have heard quite a bit of unity from the Orc teams. Other teams, showing support and that. But this is one of those.
The Wrecking Crew are wearing Leroy Jenkins patches on their gauntlets this evening.
Okay,
and then that is surprising.
Yeah,
especially considering Coach Caven and Commissioner Preach have had their differences in the past.
Well, and the one trot thing has started to come back a little bit, and I think the actual quote from the Wrecking Crew is they want the last thing that a Norseman sees to be Leroy Jenkins.
Well, you got to give it props to Coach Caven there. He has no shame in his hatred for Kami, Cozy, and that Norse team.
Yeah.
A lot of bad blood in the area.
In
the neighbor's yard. I'll be right back. My dog wandered into the neighbor's yard.
Okay, so
is that a euphemism?
Is that a euphemism? Yeah.
Oh, me too. I am giving MTV.
Jigs.
I believe that particular euphemism has something to do with a hot dog stand in the area. Resner Rules You is known for hot dogs and those kind of things. It's a bit of a reputation he's gained. Yeah, and it's something that we deal with on mass sometimes. But yeah, it's known to hot dog a bit that Resner. Every now and then he gets out of control and can't control himself. Has to go and get himself a nice piece of meat in a tube form, slathered in a bun, a few toppings, and it's a good healthy snack. He'll be set to go in a little bit here. But
we just wait for him to finish up.
But yeah, no, we've heard rumblings of other teams possibly doing similar show of support for the Orcs. I know that the Orc tribe is in the league has been thinning down throughout the seasons. That they at times were as many as 7 Orc teams, and now I believe we're down to just 4, being the Titans.
I'm sorry, Marshall, I have to pick you up on that. I think you have a spreadsheet on this. I think there may have been some instigation from the Chaos camps to reduce the Orcs in the league.
I'm a firm believer in the strong will survive, and I think that the league has really been trimmed down due to some effort of mindful managing style chaos coaches to trim the league down from an Orc infestation down to a what I think is an appropriate level of Orcs. Any league is like an environment and that, and it's one of those where being at 4 Orc teams, it's really they spread throughout the league, keeping the overly dodgy teams at bay, keeping them trimmed down to an appropriate team value. But yes, we're down to what I believe is 4 Orc teams. We have the Titans, the Wrecking Crew, Yates Yobs, and then the Orc team that you'll see tonight being the New Orcland Grunts. And you know, the only one of those that is a fairly new team is Yate Yobs, and they came in from the Challenge League after coming in second, I believe, in the inaugural
You know,
Challenge
everybody
League
talks
Cup.
about the guy who came in second place. Nobody even knows that I won the inaugural Challenge Cup. I mean, everybody knows that S130 South was the other finalist.
Rez, what is this challenge league you speak of?
Oh, it's a wonderful land where treemen get jump up and Chaos Warriors get leap.
Sounds awful.
It's a fairy tale land.
Rez, have you got your dog back in the yard now?
Yes. He was just over there letting the neighbor's dog know what territory was his and, you know, what wasn't.
I bet he was, yeah.
Yeah,
All right,
all
ladies and
35
gentlemen.
pounds of him.
It's looking like we are getting closer to game time. That the coaches are summoning their players, starting to make
That's
final
some funky
adjustments.
logo
and that.
action on Twitch.
Yeah, it's really kind of classy there. I got to admit, I'm pretty impressed there. So
Can
it looks like
Dignity
I'm looking
finally
at this-
prove they have some?
Nice. I'm looking
good.
at the Norcland Grunts roster right now. It looks like they're having one player missing with Gorklore, which isn't going to seem to hurt the Grunts too much and brings them down to about 1680 team value, whereas Dignity's down to 1510 and missing two particularly nice pieces with, of course, Lith missing the game after them and Jester both missing this match. So we're going to see some inducements possibly with Dignity. What do you think they're going to take?
Dignity actually isn't going to get inducements. The high value of their loaners is actually going to make them a little bit bloated. The Grunts, not bringing in any journeymen, are actually going to get a little bit of money for inducements, and I think they'll end up just taking a babe, or maybe spending a little bit of pocket cash. But I think they're gonna end up taking a babe and just being happy with that.
Well, and the Grunts only have 20K in their own treasury, so they just spent half of it
Yeah.
for the extra 10 for the babe.
Yeah, that's what you
Nice.
expect, yeah.
Yeah, but with an aggressive player like Physique roaming the opposite side of the field, it definitely will come in handy having a little bit extra help on the sidelines. I know that one of our sideline announcers is definitely going to take advantage of the babe on the sidelines. I believe Serious Jest has joined us just recently here.
Yep, I'm here. What's up, fellas?
I believe Serious Jess is actually on the New Orcland Grunts sidelines there, and hopefully we'll be able to give us a little bit of insight there. We have Resner Rules You on the Dignity sideline. Just to give you a little bit of a heads up there, Rez, you may want to avoid those cookies. Those are, I believe, organic or some kind of thing like that, so they
They're
can be
some
a
kind
little
of
dry.
vegan monstrosity. But I must say that the sidelines seem to be much nicer. Dignity pretty much walks in and demands that the sidelines be remodeled prior to any game that they play on the road.
So yeah, both you guys try to avoid getting too close to the field. We are in the New Orcland Grunt Stadium. They have Astro Granite on the field. I'm not sure how many of you have had much experience with Astro Granite. I personally, I tend to avoid it. I hear it can be rather dangerous if you have slip and falls or anything like that. But if any of you have any expert advice to chime in with it, please. I believe that Rez may have experimented with AstroTurf at some time.
I liked it with my undead team, but it was actually the Mummy Factory. But once they turned into a full passing team, it didn't seem like a wise decision. Sometimes you got to make that break for the end zone, and ghouls have enough trouble staying alive as it is.
I noticed that Dignity have a Vamp Elf. Obviously a crossbreed.
Oh.
Yeah, and I believe you're looking at Tenacity there most likely. Tenacity has
Team
been
leader.
a linchpin of this team for 2 seasons now. This being their 2nd season, and he has been. He has been a force to be reckoned with. Really saves the day quite frequently because he's able to come in and get that crucial block when they need it. More of the flashy showman type is Physique, which you'll see on the opposite end of it, of the line there currently, and he does a lot of blitzing, piling on, trying to really eliminate players and get a numbers advantage. So I'm going to rotate my view over to the New Orcland Grunts way so that I have it same view as what our viewers are seeing.
And I am loading up as we speak.
So yes, the most exciting point in a game for everyone is the initial setup of the players, and that every announcer loves the moment to just ramble on with nothing really of consequence going on the field. One thing that you will always notice is different teams take different approaches. I think it's going to be one of those where the Grunts are they're gonna play defense first, and with their strength and quite a bit of guard, they're able to put 5 players on the line, with them being Slim Pickens in the center, and then the 4 Black Orcs, 2 per side, making it extremely difficult to get a real clean block on any of them. Looks like they are loading up on break tee, so we could see opening attacks there. Physique also in the area, so it looks like the High Elves have picked the left side of this defense to attack. We do have Royalty, their star thrower, in the back. Recently, Royalty with some of his teammates in a High Elf versus High Elf game put up 6 touchdowns and also set the passing record just slightly above 200 yards.
Completely ridiculous shots. How these 2 IHL teams were allowed to farm the pros is beyond me.
Yeah, and this is one of those where there's a lot of speculation that some foul play may have occurred at that point. Not able to confirm any of that. So I wouldn't want to get caught up in a nasty elf lawyering suit where they send their high-priced players after, or lawyers after us. So I'm gonna skirt away from just besmirching their quote-unquote good name.
Well, I wish I could say the same, but no, I don't care for these low elves one bit. And Dignity knows that Dignity has none, as usual. Surprising that I just see on the pitch is a new addition to possibly the Grunts, Iggy Max. Know anything about this new Goblin player on the Grunts shots?
Just hang on a second here. Dignity has taken the ball, and Royalty is he's spiking the ball into the ground. He's refusing to start the offense. And this is something that we've heard rumor of. We've heard rumor that the Grunts are going to take a moment of silence for their first turn and stand in solidarity. I am going to also take a moment of silence and wait to see if the players respond.
I hope there's a foul.
I don't believe there's going to be a foul. I think the players are taking this moment in remembering their fallen teammate. We lost one of the MML's great stars, Leroy Jenkins. Really became a vocal character that was an immense force in the locker room. Really taking charge of this Orc offense, and just this past week was killed after taking a severe injury. Met his death on the field, and now his team, carrying on, finishing out this season without him, has taken this first turn to remember all of the things that he's done and wish him luck in the next life.
That's beautiful.
Well said, Shots. Right now I'm using my cable vision camera to slowly scan the field, pan the field, looking at close-ups of all these players in silence, standing, no one clicking any buttons, no sounds from the crowd.
What's the view from the sidelines there, Jess? Jess is speechless. This is something that we've almost never seen. Maybe Rez can fill in a little bit and let us know what was that moment like from Dignity's sideline.
I have only one thing to say, and that is, in the arms of forking angels, Leroy Jenkins.
Well said. Well said. And now we have a block. The moment of silence completely interrupted by Tenacity striking break teeth.
That's a classic low elf maneuver, isn't it?
Waiting till the last moment to come in and strike, and now they're going after Waylon Jennings. This is Physique, known for piling on. Looks like he has broken the armor already. And a stun, and he is looking around like, go time. Time for the sniffles over. It's time to get after this one. And Waylon Jennings is dead! Apothecary looking around.
Coach Preach must be beside himself right now. Could this be happening again? Deja vu all over again.
And
Literally
sure.
30 seconds after the minute silence, and he's gone.
Yeah, this is over, and that was their transfer player for this season. I believe they brought him in just this past season, and back-to-back deaths, and the Apothecary was in the area but was not called upon. So I have to imagine
best friend.
Well, I know that Leroy was one of the big supporters of bringing Waylon Jennings up from the minor leagues and that, and now I hate to say it, but that gives the player advantage to Dignity and the High Elves.
Training partners, weren't they?
I know that they were often seen in the weight rooms putting in extra sets, trying to be the swellest fork and orc on the planet.
And guys, I've just got to cut in. The Dignity sideline is cheering. They are throwing things at the dead orc as they carry his body off of the pitch. This is just disgusting.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I'm over here on the orc sideline, guys. This has been a whirlwind of emotions. First of all, I tried to arrive early for this broadcast, and I had a bunch of orc security over here. They refused to let me in until I finally put on a Leroy Jenkins patch. I tried to tell them as part of the media I'm not supposed to be biased toward either team. They insisted, threatened me with bodily harm over and over again. I came in, we got the game started, we had the moment of silence. Shots tried to get me to talk, which there was no way I was doing over here. There was one small goblin that got a little chippy and started whispering during the moment of silence, and several orcs, black orcs, just started pounding him into the ground until that's all that's left. He looks like some chewed up apple-flavored gum. And then with Waylon Jennings dead, the mood over here is, oh man, people are in shock and disbelief. Now they've been pretty quiet. A lot of the orcs have been pretty quiet, and now they're starting to swell into a nasty anger. I'm kind of afraid of what's going to happen.
Yeah, and this is one of those where I think the orcs are going to try and regain the pace here. Something I just noticed. I'm not sure if Serious Jess noticed also, but the Grunts actually brought in an extra lineman, and the pylon repale happening now. This is one of these where we could be seeing back-to-back piling on. This could be
It's going to turn nasty fast.
Yeah, this is going to be one of those where with a death in the first turn, this is going to be an absolute street fight, and I don't think anybody would be surprised. I think in a street fight, the orcs are going to have a definite advantage.
I'm over here trying to figure out, is it safer to be closer to this nasty Astro Granite sideline and possibly get hit by one of these players, or is it safer to be away from the fans? I can hear a lot of grumbling in the audience. People are really, really angry about Breach MJ deciding not to let the Apo go out on that field and save Waylon Jennings. It's quite possible that outside of Leroy, he may have been the most popular grunt. And people have now been screaming threats over at the Apothecary.
Oh, they're going for a pound of flesh now. We got our first follow of the game, and that is on Physique. They are trying to get a little bit of retaliation for that last death. And
I'm not going to be tolerated.
Yeah, and this is actually interesting. We have a goblin. A goblin on the Grunts, though. We haven't seen a goblin on the Grunts in quite a while. Iggy Max, a new member of the team, looks like they were not short of volunteers after the emotional outcry after the shocking death of Leroy Jenkins. I know that orcs, goblins. I know that the league won't allow them a second a second big guy, but we had trolls lining up all around the stadium trying to get in to get a little bit of oh no. The high elves
wow.
have now turned to it looks like they're going to try and get a little bit of repayal on the repayment on the lineman that just fouled. No
Kind of
vanity
shock.
reroll, and this is going to leave Physique standing right next to Slim Pickens, the block troll. So this is going to get ugly fast if they cannot get the ball to Eccentric and get a touchdown before this turn ends.
Yeah, it's kind of surprising shots since he had so many scoring threats there. Now moving those guys in for those assists now just leaves Eccentric as the lone scoring threat at this time.
Well, they chose where they were going to attack, but they really forced their own hand. Looks like Royalty with that safe throw, able to get it all the way up the field, easily throws that distance with being AG5 accurate and having pass. He can target pretty much anywhere. Eccentric being AG5 also, dodge, built-in rerolls. This is a really high-scoring threat team. So only taking 3 turns to score, Dignity up 1-0. But the danger of doing such a thing is you're going to give the Orcs the ball. If they cage up and decide to take the High Elves to Pound Town, there's not much that they're going to be able to do against it.
I gotta think the line of scrimmage is going to be an absolute slugfest. It's going to be brutal. It's going to be like the Battle of the Somme all over again.
Absolutely. I can't see why Preach would not try to take his pound of flesh, especially after what happened to Waylon Jennings. It was incorrigible. How could they? These low elves. Ugh. Dungeon West is the best, though. These teams hate each other.
Well, here's the awkward moment of the match, though. You've got 2 brand new players that have just walked on for this match. It's going to be interesting to see how they work with this team that they've just recently been brought into. I have to imagine that the Goblin's going to be coming into action fairly soon, and that's going to be in most certainly a fouling capacity. That Goblin's going to, I think, get a lot of trampoline action on some High Elves tonight.
Goblins are great foulers in this position. So let's see how that pans out for Coach Preach now in this drive as he's setting up for the next kickoff.
Yeah, he's bringing up
the line now.
Yeah, he's bringing up the meat there. He's loading the line. It looks like he's loading up the entire line here, only leaving possibly 1-2 players back. Another thing that I noticed that the New Orcland Grunts have not picked up a passer. That this may be a sign that instead of replacing Leroy with another passer, that they're going a different direction, and that may be why the Goblin's there.
We'll have to ask Preach about that in the post-game match. What is his goals to replace Leroy Jenkins, or is there a replacement for Leroy Jenkins?
I think we'd all agree there's no real replacement for him. He was a one-of-a-kind player. But yeah, I mean, at some point the grieving process has to end for the Grunts, and they have to move on and fill in the holes that were left from these 2 players now that are dead in back-to-back games.
Grunts get an extra reroll on the kickoff event.
Yeah, but Dignity does have that kick skill. I didn't see if Eccentric got a hold of that one or not, but they do have the kick skill and bury the ball deep.
And it looks like Slim Pickens went stupid pretty quick in that turn.
Yeah, he was a little bit too excited. Really wanted to get out there and lay some hits, and just didn't think about what he was doing before he acted. Just kind of lost his way in all the excitement, I guess.
Oof,
and an armor break. Little retaliation by the big black orc, not able to do more than a stun, but that will open up a little bit of room up the middle here. Let's see. So far, the New Orcland Grunts not really paying much attention to the ball. Seems to be a secondary piece of this game for them right now. They are in full on kill mode at this point, looking for that kill box win that they covet. Oh, and it looks like they're going to pick a fight with Royal or with Tenacity here. This is going to be a difficult situation for them. Oh, they're just picking fights all over the field at this point. They don't care who they're standing up next. They're looking for that pound of flesh. They're going to hit everything in sight.
Well, this is what orcs do best. Trust in armor 9 and hit those elves.
So last player open to blitz looks to be the Frenzy, Mighty Blow, Pylon, Tackle player. And they're loaded up on Tenacity, and Tenacity is going to get a pylon here. I will almost guarantee, and here it goes.
Here it comes.
It's an effective hit. We do get a stun. And I think we're going to get more of this. I don't think either team is going to lay off on the pylons until there's no one left.
Here goes the goblin.
And pretty handy with the ball. Snatches it up without any effort, and that's gonna end the Grunt's turn, taking the last action as paying attention to the ball finally.
Preach has gotta be happy with that last turn. There's a lot of stunned elves and elves on their backs. And here we go, another hit.
Yeah, the only danger with that turn is they did leave a few players in contact, and Dignity quickly going to work on those that did. So two downed orcs on the right side, and we get an armor break. Looks to be just a bit of a stun. So he will be back, but that does free up some extra elves for moving on the next turn. Royalty being one of them. Always got to show quite a bit of respect for him. He does have a way of finding the ball and chucking it halfway across the field to one of his players.
Where do you think the blitz is going to come from?
I think they're going for they're going for big players. They're loading up on the guard orc smash arm, and that looks like Physique's eyeballing them. Physique's coming forward with that lowered movement is a successful attack, and this is going to most certainly lead to another pylon.
Absolutely, shots.
Armor broke, just a stun. Physique coming and looking over to Coach Seston quickly, like finish him off. Gets the nod, goes for the pylon. Not able to further the damage, but they are able to stand up a few more players. No real defense left in the way. The High Elves flooding the one side of the field. Orcs not known for their mobility, but they do have a few players that they can try and readjust to possibly build a cage, or I don't know. Without their thrower, are they going to try and air it out still?
It's very lopsided at the moment. You've got one side of the field quite open for the Orcs, but it's the opposite side of where the ball is.
Well, is this this also could be some kind of a strategy of the High Elves, trying to dare the Orcs to score? I mean, the High Elves have proved that they can score quickly. All it would take is probably 2 turns, and they can get it back in the end zone. So this is one of those where the High Elves may be trying to bait the Orcs into making a mistake.
Well, if these High Elves don't actually...
Slim Pickens he's up the field a way. Don't normally see him leaving the center of the pitch, trying to get up the field and give some offensive support. But yeah, this is one of those situations where, we're looking at another foul. We're looking at a goblin in the back of the field, just nothing between him and anybody else except a bunch of High Elves. This is one of those situations where the Orc Rage may have gone too far.
Yeah, this is a little dangerous. There's a lot of elves that could quite possibly reach that goblin.
Goblin's living in fear right now, hiding in the back of the end zone. The new player, I think the other players may have forgotten that they don't have their thrower back there anymore.
Well, the goblin moved a little bit away, at least away from the elves a little bit, but I don't know if they can reach him or not. No, it doesn't look like it.
Wow, the biggest issue is that this next turn is going to be crucial for the High Elves. They're going to have to figure out what they're going to do as far as and Tenacity's getting fouled again, unsuccessful. But the Goblin ref appears to have a Leroy Jenkins patch on his uniform too. I'm pretty sure that they checked everybody at the door to make sure that everyone had their patch. I don't think looking around the stadium, I don't see a whole lot of people where I can't see a visible patch.
I wonder if that ref was the same ref during the Morning Stars and Mummy Factory game. Unbelievable.
Helicopter them
That
in
was a
quickly.
great ref.
So might be a good time to get a quick little update from the Orc sideline. Coach Coach Jest, are you over there? Can you give a quick update?
Yeah, I'm still down here. Definitely there is an insistence on the patch wearing. Earlier there was a half-elf down here, a half-elf, half-orc, who decided to cover up his Leroy Jenkins patch because he was... Oh! Wait, I almost just got hit by a body over here. It looks like Morkov just got knocked to the deck. Yeah, he's still alive. He's still moving. Okay, just looks like he's kind of one of those like half knocked out stages where his eyes are open, but his eyes are like flipped back into his head. It looks like just a bunch of white eyeball. That's all I can see from their end. But yeah, that half elf before half orc decided to cover up his Leroy Jenkins patch, not on purpose. It's just he was cold. He wanted to put on an outer jacket, and again the black orcs jumped on him and pummeled him mercilessly. He is now laying over by Morklob. They've got a little section where they put knocked out fans behind the knocked out players, except they're laying in sewage, so it's not pretty.
Speaking of pummeling on that, Physique dodged out of a tackle zone and then came over to attack an Orc blitzer there, and continuing with the piling on. So looks like we may get a gang foul by the High Elves possibly here, or no, they're going to attempt to play a little bit of defense. That's a novel thought for the High Elves here.
Gentlemen, I think something's about to happen next turn with Dignity. Dauntless just leaned over towards me, winked at me, and whispered, "Watch this."
Oh, that's not a good sign for the Orcs here. Coach Rez, have you seen any activity over there on the High Elf sideline?
Well, as usual, the low elves are pretty pleased with themselves so far. They are snickering to themselves about the orc that they have killed. They don't really seem to have a whole lot of reverence. They did quickly point out to me that was not an attempted spike from Royalty. He was trying to throw it to the Goblin on the first turn, but he is so not used to throwing to the wrong teams with that safe throw that it actually just, he couldn't bring himself to do it, and he just kind of, the ball fell from his hands, and that was how they decided to play it out.
So breaking news that in fear of actually throwing an interception and marring his perfect record, Royalty could not bring himself to show respect to the Orc team, and instead simply just dropped the ball in disgust of what he was asked to do.
That sounds pretty accurate. And then they proceeded to dance around and celebrate as Wailing was mauled to death by Physique.
Oh, speaking of mauled to death, Eccentric making a play for the ball. And the pass.
Look at Iggy Max!
Oh,
We may have a new thrower in town. The Goblin pass in
six.
In what may be the most truest form of flattery, a pass that we've only seen from Orcs by one player that I can think of. The only player that I've ever seen on an Orc team make a throw like that was Leroy Jenkins, and actually earned the respect of the High Elf on the opposite side. Royalty actually sent I believe a fruit basket to Leroy after such a pass.
Wow.
Hey,
now,
gentlemen, over here, people in the crowd are whipping up into a frenzy. They're chanting "Little Leroy" now. They're just screaming "Little Leroy" over in the direction of that Goblin. So I think we have a new fan favorite. I wonder if he'll get a fruit basket, though.
Yeah, I don't think he's getting a fruit basket on that one. The high elves caught a little bit stunned. Definitely did not see that offensive play, in their future. They were caught completely on one side of the pitch. Astro Granite is not forgiving, so if they try and make up for that at this point, it's going to be for naught, because they most likely will just slip and kill themselves, and that actually I think the fans would be all right with that. So I highly suggest they run over there and try and kill themselves.
You got to respect the technique on that pass. I mean, the stunty goblin, the accuracy, the distance that he put into that, it's pure technique. It's nothing to do with physicality. He's like one of those really slim javelin throws. You can throw it, 80, 90 meters. All technique.
Yeah, it seemed like he almost did a little bit of a dance before he did it, get a little bit of motion going in that. Like, he really had to put everything into it, couldn't hold back at all. And I mean, just, it almost felt like watching an undead team try and throw and like have the arm come off with it. It was one of those moments where I thought the Goblin's arm was going to come off with the ball. He was putting so much into it.
It was a whole body action.
The foreman actually used to rip Ghoul's hands off with the velocity on his passes until we could get some more durable ones on the team.
Durable hands or durable ghouls?
I don't think there's such a thing as a durable ghoul.
So physique seems to be completely unaware that the orcs are going to score in the next turn. Instead, simply stealing blitzes and continuing to pile on to any orc that he can get his hands on. We've seen this issue with physique in the past, where he will refuse to actually go by the team's game plan and simply just look after his own stats and his own agenda. So they don't have the option to. No, it looks like Tenacity's back up and looking to try and put an end to this.
Well, it's a good plan for Coach Seston, because he's going to have to try to force these orcs to score so that he can get the ball back. And oh wow!
And that's the last reroll. This is going to lead to a ball scatter on the sideline. Tenacity is strength 4, so this is going to be a hard pillar to remove from that tackle or the ball zone. But at the same time, this is one of those where there's a swarm of elves coming over. I mean, this could be the moment for Slim Pickens to finally, make his presence felt. If he can get himself up and moving, I mean, that could be the difference.
Oh, we got a failed dodge.
Yeah, Christmas tree on that one. 6-1.
You got to feel like the neutrals are supporting the orcs at this point, not just in memory of Leroy, but out of respect for the Gobbo pass, out of respect for Waylon, dear departed Waylon. You got to feel like the neutrals are really rooting for the orcs to get the ball back here.
Well, the orcs aren't holding anything back at this point. They're out there trying to make anything possible happen. It's one of those where, home crowd, little bit of home cooking in that. They're doing everything they can to try and get a win, to try and make this night special, to try and move on with this season, and remember. And at the same time, I think all these players would like to just forget a little bit and get back to the simplicity of the game too, because they've lived with a lot of pain this week, dealing with the loss of their comrade.
Oh, we see only a push on this blitz, but he will be.
Oh, where's that going? Oh, that's not great.
Oh, my mistake.
Wait a minute. The player actually turned down the dodge ability in fear of getting surfed. Something that you don't see almost ever. That was a lay down by Tenacity. I can't recall ever in a pro game a player actually laying down, and then we're going to see another player getting laid down. The Goblin's laying down the smack. We're getting a trampoline effect here. I can't even tell which player he was fouling at that point. He bounced from corpse to corpse over there, trying to do as much damage as possible.
I had a great view of the Goblin trampolining there, and that was most certainly Physique that he was bouncing up and down gleefully on.
It almost, from my vantage point, it almost looked like he bounced on Physique a few times, jumped over to Eccentric a few times. Like he was over there like a kid in a bounce house, just having an absolute blast.
I'm still trying to it boggles my mind. Why would you take that? Are you so afraid of getting pushed out of bounds with control of the ball, playing with the lead?
Well, this is something that I don't think anybody's pointed out yet. I know that after the last game, Coach Seston was extremely upset with the apothecary, and I believe he fired his apothecary and refused to take another league apothecary until something was done about this. He has been notorious for not using apothecaries, trying to protect his high value players. And then when he needed the apothecary to come through last week, they failed him and basically damaged one of his high value players in the process. So this may be a result. I haven't noticed, but it appears that they have rehired a new apothecary. Maybe they don't fully trust that apothecary. It's one of those where I know that they've had issues with that in the past, that they don't want to take any more risk than they have to with these high-value players.
Well, so far it seems to have panned out since they did knock down Grazog, who was carrying the ball, and now the Elves could possibly grab this ball and maybe throw it to Funny, who is in some tackle zones, but...
Well, the issue is that the player that you really want standing and who has just stood up is Eccentric. Eccentric's the one that you want to get the ball because of having nerves of steel. He can actually, he can get the distance that he needs. The biggest issue at this point is that their passer is far enough away that he can't move up to the ball, address the ball, and get the throw off at that distance, I believe. So it's a situation where they may try and get this touchdown, but they first have to try and address the ball and get the mobility to get all the way up there. I think they'll make a stab at grabbing this thing, but it won't be until after they've addressed the nonsense up the field. Physique left in a position that he's not used to, though. He's still standing. Was not able to successfully attack a player to get the pile on. And Royalty grabs the ball and then ends the turn. And that was dangerously close. I think that the coach could not get all the orders in, was not able to make the throw he wanted. Has left his player in harm's way now. Not standing up tenacity, and this could be an Orc touchdown here. They do have two turns, and this is a situation I don't think that Dignity wants to be in.
Reroll used on the block there was interesting.
Yeah, they are really targeting Physique after he took out one of their players. Just a locker room presence. He's definitely no Leroy Jenkins, but Waylon Jennings was right there with Leroy. Getting the team right, really getting them reorganized and in a winning fashion. Reprioritizing. Oh, and Slim Pickings in action now. You don't want a troll like that coming after you. Dauntless completely stunned. And a dauntless player is a dangerous thing to have around if you're a troll, because they don't care what your strength is. They will attack almost anything.
Well, not from his face he won't be. He won't be attacking anybody next turn.
So the Goblin's still in play. We've seen him come up huge in the most recent turns here. Looks like they're freeing up a blitzer back there, the Frenzy Mighty Blow Tackle blitzer.
Oh,
Funny is
there goes
KO'd.
Funny.
Black Orc's going to work. Yeah, and this is one of those. This is the danger of leaving High Elves in the tackle zones of these Black Orcs. They will swing on almost anything, and when they hit, it's just such a massive attack.
And the blitz is down here, not on the ball carrier.
Yeah, it appears that they've lost interest in the ball again and are just targeting high value players.
Great use of Frenzy.
Yeah, and and a successful attack on Eccentric. Eccentric, one of the more loved high elves in the league, known for his strange antics and sometimes crawling around in ceilings.
If one can say love for any low elf.
Are you max foul on Physique again, do you think?
I don't think there's anything that's going to stop them. Looks like they still have more plans for this turn. Oh, they're going for the follow-on Tenacity. They want blood for Tenacity stealing their crowd surf. Oh, and James O'Malley is sent off. The ref has removed his Leroy Jenkins patch, tosses it over to some strange goblin that has a GG patch on. He walks off with it. I don't know what that exchange was about.
This is going to be interesting for the second half now, because it's quite possible that the Orcs are actually going to be down players.
Well, currently, if they can get their KOs back, they'll only be at 10 players. So they can still keep pace with a little bit of luck on the KOs, and that may be where the babes that have been rubbing down these Orcs this first half may come into play. Jess, do you have you have any insight on what these babes are doing to try and get the Orcs back up and running?
Well, I don't think these babes are that smart, first of all. It seems like they spend a lot of time trying to rub down Waylon Jennings. Finally, somebody explained to them that, yeah, he's not coming back. So now they're focusing on the two that we see over there on the Orc sideline. Or I'm sorry, not the two. The two that we see over there on the knockout box.
Oh my!
The Goblin keeps laughing in his sleep every time they get near. I mean, not the Goblin. What's his name? The lineman, Mortgob, keeps laughing in his sleep every time they get near his little stomach area. He gives out a little tee. I don't know what's up with that. In the knockout box, James O'Malley keeps mumbling about how he's getting a raw deal over here. By the way, these babes are extra masculine over here. Really, really big bicep muscles, and they got hairy knuckles. Definitely not the kind of thing you'd want to wake up to if you were knocked out. Maybe it'll jar you back into reality. But back to you.
Yeah, catching you up real quick here. Something you'll never see again, most likely. Physique took an attack on the Goblin Iggy Max. Iggy Max literally slapped Physique across the face. Physique went straight down. We've seen this a handful of times with Physique, where he will attempt attacks and fail, and just it seems to be in the strangest opportunities. We saw him actually have a game previously where he was unable to throw a successful block because his first block failed and knocked him out. So now speaking of knock, oh my God!
We've got a new fan
Iggy
favorite
goes with the
Iggy.
foul and attempts to kill Physique. I believe he got caught in that one. The eagle-eyed ref giving a thumbs up to the strange goblin behind it. Iggy is off the field now, but damage is done. Apothecary spent. This is one of those moments where this is going to set the pace for the rest of this game. With so many high-value players on Dignity, that goblin got sent off, but also took the apothecary with him. So from now on, from here on out,
it's a good thing they got rid of that old doctor that they had up until this week.
Yeah,
Hey guys, I'm down here on the Orc sideline. I would really hate to be that Goblin ref. The crowd is definitely very, very hostile to him. They've been spitting. They've been throwing things at him. They've been hurling insults. A posse of black orcs started to walk over in his direction, and stadium security actually headed that pack off and whispered something to them, and they walked away grumbling. The ref himself keeps pulling out pictures of his family and looking at them and shedding a tear every once in a while. So I think he knows how grave this situation is. But wow, the fans were really upset. I mean, they definitely had their signs up. One of them said "Physique is a hobbit," and then that whole section started cheering extra loud when he was momentarily dead. When the apothecary saved him, of course, there were death threats against that apothecary. But fortunately for him, he's over on the other sideline. So, wow.
Yeah, this tense moment there. The crowd was of two minds at that point. They were extremely celebratory to see the player dead for moments, but just disheartened after the player actually survived.
Can we just take a quick moment as well to praise the debut 7 turns of Iggy Max? pulling off a fantastic pass that could have resulted in a touchdown, slapping Physique across the face, and then jumping on him until he was dead. I mean, that's a pretty good debut.
This Goblin may very well be Leroy Jenkins reincarnated.
Got an injury.
He could be. Well, could well be, yeah.
And
by the way, Iggy's over here chilling out. He actually had two orc women come over and carry him like in a chair. They're very strong, of course, the orc women. So he's being fanned right now and being fed grapes. He's having a good time while he's sitting in the injury box.
Well, he deserves it.
Yeah, if you're looking for an MVP, if you're looking for a rookie coming in mid-season and just making an impact, Iggy Max has made several impacts, many of them on Physique, one of the most notorious blitzers and strikers in this league.
One of the
Guys,
great
over here on the orc sideline, they've already started to develop T-shirts for Iggy Max. They got his picture on one of them, and it says "Real orc teams have goblins."
Too soon.
quite a shot at Coach Caven, I believe, who does I don't believe carries a goblin on his team.
The people want their gobos, gentlemen. What can I say?
Strategically, it's a great thing, actually, that Ziggy got kicked off, because he may have not survived this. Wow, though. We just hit a great big bad turnover by the Orcs.
Yeah, that was the pile-on frenzy combo. He got excited. He wanted to get that hit in. Had the one die block coming through, but the frenzy dragged him into the second block. Red dies, gets pushed skull, and Seston quickly takes the skull, downs the player. This is one of those situations where this unleashes Physique to try and make an attack on whoever he likes at this point. So Physique just eyeballing around, trying to find the goblin. He sees him on the sidelines. Physique throws his hands up. He's disgusted that he can't get back and get his vengeance on his attacker at this point. Yeah, the Physique seems to be upset that the goblin got sent off, and the ref may actually have done the goblin a favor because Physique is just infuriated.
I'm over here by Iggy, and he's taken the opportunity to smile back at Physique, wink at him, and started to rub the breasts of one of the two strong, manly orc women that are next to him. I don't know if that's supposed to be like an insult or what. I don't know what to make of it, but the goblin seems to be having a good time.
Well, while the orcs were distracted by that display, Eccentric blows through the line on a blitz. Before attacking the orc, he actually picks the ball up and then dusts it off. Looks at the orc blitzer, puts one hand on his face, and just throws him to the ground.
That's a great move by Coach Seston.
We got a Black Hawk down.
Black Orc down, and it's a KO. Will Physique follow up with the pylon in the KO situation? No, he shows a touch of restraint, something not commonly seen. And Royalty kind of assessing the situation. Looks like he may come over for an assist, and we may get one more block on a Black Orc.
Well, why not? Tenacity's got strength 4.
And he comes through successful block, and the Black Orcs aren't faring too well in this half. So Eccentric with the ball in scoring range. Not that it takes much for Eccentric. He seems to always find his way to where he wants. Sometimes through ceiling tiles or vents. Sometimes through just pretending that he's invisible when people can see him.
That's true. Blitzer Takior for the Grunts, though, is a dangerous opponent. He's skilled with tackle and frenzy, so it's possible with a little help he might be able to take down Eccentric, but it's going to be tough.
Well, I think the Grunts are really focused in on Physique. He's been a thorn in their side this entire game, and they have the block they're looking for. Testorcles making that attack. These injuries will stick at this point, and this is This is the moment where the Orcs really got to decide which side of the and they're going to make an attack, a blitz away from the ball. So looks like they're more concerned with they're more concerned with getting the the back-to-back frenzy fails.
Oh.
And they just cannot seem to deal with the strength of these high elves. The frenzy coming back to bite them again. They have gone pile-on crazy, and the heat of that has drugged them into back-to-back bad situations. And now we're going to get a little bit of elf showboating here. Eccentric handing the ball to Swift. Swift already getting his next level, padding on his stats now.
Wow. That was a little surprising from Coach Preach. I believe he could have brought over one of the guard orc linemen with a go for it to possibly blitz on Eccentric, but he chose to try to take on Tenacity instead and got double skulled for it.
Yeah, it's really difficult for the Orcs at this point. They came in with a game plan and did not anticipate the psychological scarring of commemorating their lost teammate and then immediately being shown that horror again just moments later. I mean, it went from a moment of silence to a moment of just complete horror film for them. Losing two key players on their team back-to-back games and really. I mean, on the field time, it was basically 4 turns apart. So this is one of those things where they've had some really traumatic experiences, and it's going to be difficult for them to rebound from it.
Yeah, trauma is going to be tough for this team, but when it comes down, teams need to score touchdowns, and that's unfortunate for the Grunts now. Being players down and Dignity had their foot on their throat, and they're going to keep pressing it, and now they are up 2-0.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where, and I am not sure. The Grunts don't appear to be putting anybody back at this point.
There we go.
Okay, they've selected a player, trusting in a different blitzer here. But yeah, this is a strange situation.
Ooh.
Nice. Gentlemen, the crowd over here are applauding this effort to line everybody up and get them going. The crowd's already got the kill box win signs out. They don't care about the score. They just want the kill box win.
Well, and that's a fine detail that we need to actually clear up here. The casualty box is quite full for the Grunts, but those aren't what they accept as kill box wins. They only accept damage that they've done on the field. The ejections are actually frowned upon. That's something that they write to the referees union complaining about, that their playing style is legitimate and that they should be respected for it. So we're seeing more punishment being dealt out. This is another loner injury. So this isn't the pound of flesh that they want. No one really respects these fill-in mercenary loners, and it's rather unfortunate that teams have to deal with them on such a frequent basis. But the level of violence in the league has definitely escalated in the past couple of weeks, and it's just something that we've come to deal with.
It's a good score for the kill box, though, for Coach Preach. He'll count that for his kill box win.
Yeah, no, you're definitely
moderately happy with that one.
You're not gonna take any single attack away from these guys. And speaking of not taking it away, they've got Tenacity on the ground. That is a pylon player, and he's airborne, coming down with cleats and digs in, only able to get a stun on Tenacity.
Coach Preach has got to be disappointed with these injury rolls after breaking armor, and he's really, really trying to put the pain to this low elves.
Oh, and we're gonna get a foul. That's a clawed up fist coming down on Physique, getting a KO. Physique off the field now. No apothecary to save him.
Oh, but the wrath.
And with
there
that,
goes Physique as a Hobbit signs back out again, and the crowd's going crazy. On his way over to the ejection box, the fans are back slapping him on the back, cheering him on, and I think they're cheering is that we want 4.
Yeah, and I believe the fans are aware that the league record was for send-offs from fouling was actually set by the Grunts in the inaugural season. That the Grunts set that record at 3, and it's been a bit of pride in the league to have the record for send-offs. We've seen it matched.
Season 2.
Oh,
Season 2
was
they
it
said
season
it.
2?
Yep, against
But
Miles.
it's been matched several times. I believe that the Thugs have matched it with 3. They
In season
rematched
3?
it. Yeah, and then they rematched it just I believe it was last night they rematched it with another 3, and I can't remember what the other team was that had 3 send-offs, but it's a hotly
Solar
contested
Sabres.
one. Okay, so
And that
the
was season
Sabres
4.
with so this is one of those an eccentric back after the ball easily picks it up, dusts it down, and looks to be quite pleased with his work. Not that a high elf would never be pleased with what he's done.
By the way,
Right,
Shot, so
another
just what you brought up, that's an interesting tidbit there, is now we have one team in every season since season 2 who's managed to get 3 people ejected from the party. From the game.
Yeah, we've had 2 this week, and I have to imagine by the pace of this game that we're gonna see 4, maybe even 5. High Elves being up 2 touchdowns really poses the question of Killbox win is pretty much guaranteed at this point. You're gonna need something pretty impressive to distract these orcs. They're going for one thing, and that's blood.
Oh, here we go with the blitz.
And it doesn't appear that they're worried about the ball at all. They are just simply going for punishment.
This is a little bit similar to my game earlier today with the mummies, but not quite the same in that the score is. So the orcs are going to concede probably a loss, but they may completely maim this elf team, and Coach Heston's got to be worried about that at least a little bit.
I mean, at least I tried to go get the ball.
So I'm gonna run it down to Coach Rez. How are the High Elves reacting to this display of just brutal force that the orcs are going with?
The High Elves are actually laughing hysterically with each foul that gets thrown. They've already topped the hardest hit in the game with wailing from Physique. They're basically just kind of chuckling to themselves. There's been no real injury. The orcs are going to have to hit somebody a little more important and a little harder if they want to actually get the elves' attention.
I'd hate to be this ref right now. I'm over here. Now the crowd is threatening him and yelling at him for not throwing out that last orc who fouled. This guy is damned if he does, damned if he doesn't.
Oh, another score by Eccentric.
So the High Elves getting their 3rd score, the Orcs getting their 3rd send-off. We're seeing a bit of symmetry here, not quite the way that we anticipated it. Going around the league quickly here, better news for the Orcs. The Wrecking Crew is currently up 1-0 against Just Norse'ing Around, and that is in the bottom of the 10th turn. And so far the Snitchburg Pirates,
The Pirates just
up,
scored.
are up 1-0 on, I believe they're playing Durun's
Knuckles
Holy Rollers, and that was top of turn 5, so they're going into the bottom turn 5.
Very, very, very competitive division.
Yeah, it's a heated, well battled debate.
You'll be all right, Starmie. You just need some of those blitzers to die.
Exactly. Team bloat.
You could always do the
1800, I'm
Skaven meld. You could always do the Skaven meld like we see Redentia ad nauseum do annually, and just pick a farm team and meld the important players over to it.
That's how I got the Morning Stars in the league. I don't think it's going to work anymore.
But better known as the Dignity way of building a team. I get all kinds of grief. I sold a Strength 5 ghoul who had wrestle so that I could pick up my guard AG4 ghoul who didn't even have block at the time, and I catch grief. Everybody forgets the all-time farm champions.
Oh, I remember losing at Dignity in the farm with the Morning Stars. That's
Oh,
how
yeah.
long ago we go back.
Oh yeah, I remember playing Dignity in the farm. I probably was stop rolling ones at some point. Dignity's been around for a long, long time.
We got quite
So-
the lineup situation with the Grunts. They are going for blood.
They're going for what appears to be a strange-looking one-turn offense.
Oh,
Dignity
and the
is
worst thing could
laughing.
happen.
Dignity
The
is
worst
laughing.
thing.
Eccentric and Funny are just beside themselves. Like, we just get to go wherever we want now. Like this is just.
No.
We haven't seen lack of defense like this since the high elf showdown, which ended 6-5.
And
Or actually the
curiously,
last game
Dignity
with
is
the Morning
part of
Stars.
both of them. The crowd over here is yelling conspiracy.
Shenanigans.
So Loner trying to create a little bit of a screen here. I think the high elves still think that the orcs have any interest in the ball. At this point, I have to imagine Physique's going to run as far away as possible because it looks like a Physique hunting party coming after him.
Yeah, it's great for Coach Seston that, the one guy that's in kind of a dangerous position right now between the ball is a loner.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where the high elves are, this is where you see where the pecking order lays because, it looks like they're taking a little risk. Royalty marks and Physique comes through. I gotta imagine there's going to be a push and no follow-up. But this poses an interesting question. They may lose a high-valued piece to a Surf here because they have left Royalty on the sideline, and there are frenzy players involved.
That's a calculated risk. I agreed, but we'll see what happens when the Grunt's turn comes about.
I think we all know what's going to happen when the Grunt's turn comes. It's going to be knuckles flying everywhere, and the biggest problem is they have taken, for the High Elves, have taken their two highest value players and put them right on the sideline, and this could be one of those where, unless they score in the next turn or two, you're looking at players that are going to get surfed off the pitch, and no Apothecary to save them anymore. Three players, so they're showing a bit of solidarity too.
This will be a great turn coming up.
This is going to be one of those where and the Troll's in play, and now you're going to get a guard piece moving over there. Somebody's taking a ride. I have to imagine Physique's not feeling too good about his future now.
It'll be an interesting kind of blitz coming up.
Get the thrower.
If Physique's your favorite player, you might want to get a good look at this moment because it's not going to last long. I hope Physique didn't buy any green bananas because he's not going to be able to enjoy them. So they're loading up that sideline. They're pinning them in. If there's a failed pickup, you're going to see this play happen over and over again. You're going to see three players if anything goes wrong for this high elf offense.
Here comes the guard.
Frenzy is engaged, trying to figure out which player he can attack and probably... Oh, no, they're going for extra. They may be going for the thrower. Either that or they're going for 3 dice to make sure they get the push. And the blitz, it's going to Physique. He gets the first initial push. This is going to load up. We're going to get the frenzy attack. Physique's going off the pitch. We're going to see if the anger management triplets can finish the job here.
Big roll here.
Huge roll. They went with tan, and yellow for this game. A little bit interesting. They normally like the reds this late in the year. It matches their eyes with the bottom season.
Physique may have gotten away with one there, but I'm flipping between some Twitch streams here on the sideline, and Crystal Knocked has just been killed. Oh my god! And now Jerkin James is also been killed. Just Norse'n around just suffered 2 deaths.
And that was something that we heard rumor of. We heard that the Wrecking Crew was not gonna take and pull any punches. That they saw what kind of dangerous play that those Norse can do. Just Norse'ing around
lost a Berserker and an AG4 player.
Wow.
Yeah, Just Norse'ing around was the team that took out Leroy Jenkins and really has enraged the Orc teams around the league.
And apparently we don't want to enrage our orc teams because they seem to be doing quite a bit of damage around the leagues. And guess who gets to play Caven next week? The Morning Stars.
Well, this is an interesting thing though, because the league actually has four orc teams, like I had let the viewers know earlier. But we also currently support four Norse teams, so it's a fairly even battle. But I can't imagine that the Norse teams with their mankinis and low armor really want to get involved in that fight long term.
Absolutely not. Now we see, I believe, Funny scored the fourth touchdown of the day for Dignity.
Yeah, and Funny at this point, he's having a career day for himself, but it's really at the expense of the players that have been around. No one's really paying much attention to Funny because the orcs are all worried about taking out everybody else, anybody that has any level of skills. And now we're seeing the one-turn defense, the runaway approach to defense. Coach Seston no longer taking any risks. They're gonna make the orcs walk all the way over if they want to get their hits.
Yeah, Coach Seston jumped on me about 5 seconds before I called this. We were gonna definitely see the end of the elf aggression. We're going to see Coach Seston take his 4-0 lead and trot to the next game, hopefully.
Yeah, and this
I'm
may
over
be
here on the
part.
Grunts sideline, guys. Man, these fans got to be the most deluded fans in Blood Bowl. I just had a little interview with Billy Blork Greenmeyer over
And
here.
a blitz.
He is He is an 8-year-old who is attending his first Grunts game. His dad brought him here, and I asked him if he was disappointed that his team is losing, and he's told me, "What are you talking about? The score is 2-1 as far as I can see." So they really take this kill box win thing seriously. They think they're winning over there.
It looks like the Grunts players are a little bit upset. They were looking to get an elf down. They appear to be looking for following seasons to remain open. That they wanna get that last send off. So they have a loner down at this point. I wouldn't be surprised if we don't see the foul on the loner. Seston actually, Coach Seston on the high elf sideline appears to be pointing out that the loner's down there. It looks like he wants to get the orcs to try and foul. And yeah, this is one of those where it appears that they're just they're sacrificing 3 players to the orcs and then just going to be happy with that.
Here comes the blitz.
And the lion is down. And I have to imagine a pylon coming up next with just the stun. Here's the pylon.
Correct.
Well, it's easy to call a an orc team that's on tilt. So the bigger question is what piece is going to do the foul now? Whose turn is it? Looks to be the lineman. Guard lineman coming over.
Here comes Morgob.
Foul coming. A little boot coming through. A little bit of a surprise there. Going for the stunned player. And no send-off. Could we check in with Rez real quick here? Is there any concern on the high elf sideline with the way that this game's going?
Oh, there goes the elf.
Oh, the elves are quite pleased with themselves. They're laughing and pointing at the underprivileged linemen who aren't worthy of being pulled back to safety. So the high elves are acting like they just won the championship basically at this point.
And they might. Could they actually score a 5th touchdown?
Well, something that I'm noticing here actually, the orcs have done quite a bit of damage, but they may be pleased because the injuries actually have all been to loners at this point. There have been no high value targets, and I mean, as far as kill box wins go, I'm not sure that Waylon Jennings is equivalent to the 2 loners.
I don't think Waylon Jennings is equivalent to 3 loners. So I think Preach will have to reassess his kill box win formula in the future at least.
Well, but in the present, it looks like we're getting a group loaded up to make an attempt at a record-setting foul here, I believe.
Also might have a record-setting score here with a loner if he cannot knock this guy down.
That's going to be a successful attack, but they still have enough back to do the damage they want. They actually may have to start looking at not doing gang fouls because it's a bit more dangerous and maybe more successful doing a better armor break and killing the player and not leaving them someone left to foul in the next turn.
Well, with that, here comes the foul.
And a successful foul. It is a KO. Armor
Nice.
broken. He does get away with it though. The ref is denying the Orcs of their record.
Little Billy Blork is over here really upset. He's screaming obscenities. He said that forking ref needs to get his eyes together. Aren't you 8, kid? No, he just spit at me. You little fucker, get away from me.
Goodness.
Yeah, the sidelines can be a bit dangerous out there.
Oh, especially on the battlefield.
And a failed dodge leads to a turnover. And that leaves the Orcs looking around for a new victim. Actually, here, if I was a loner, I would not sign up to play on Dignity's side lately, because it does not look like it ends well for you.
This is where taking Dauntless first might be to Dauntless's detriment, because he's about to get blitzed by a strength. Oh no!
Oh no, they're going for high value. No rerolls now.
Oh,
They are through them, but he
royalty.
is gonna get his attack. Black Orc standing there. Actually,
Nice.
I believe that took a go for it to get there. I believe.
It did.
So playing with
Surprised.
house money at this point. Turn 16, top of turn 16. Loner in sight. I think they got one last shot for the record. Oh, they go for the ball. They rob the fans of the record.
Boo!
So difficult situation. Coach Preach is going to have to deal with the fallout from the fans. But yeah, this is one of those situations where I'm sure they wanted to go a little bit differently. They wanted to take Physique out or a high value player out. They're going to have to watch Physique pile on their Black Orc with guard. Nothing
Now,
they can do about that end of the pitch.
Shots, did the Grunts use their apothecary this game, or could Waylon Jones have been saved?
In theory, they did not use the apothecary. They could have made an attempt to save Waylon Jennings. It was rather early in the game. The apothecary may still have been observing the moment of silence because it came immediately after that. He may not have been prepared. Salt in the wounds. Waylon Jennings in a moment of just salt in the wounds, or possibly just admiration for the player, is named the MVP. Dignity does not fare much better. Ended up getting a loner MVP. That was the loner that survived the game, I believe. So not a lot of SPP going to the MVPs in this one.
I just saw a sight that will haunt me forever in my memory. Right after the game ended and the ref blew the last whistle, he turned to me and he said, "Please tell my family I love them." The crowd poured out and literally ripped him apart. They grabbed his arms, they grabbed his legs, they pulled hard, and his head literally popped out like a cherry. And then the Orcs just went and smashed it on the ground. I'm kind of disturbed right now. This is brutal.
So gruesome sight after an absolutely gruesome game. No punches pulled. Both teams just in an absolute street fight for their life. It is really one of those situations where any player that got out alive has to be happy. Things were done and said, and actions were taken that will haunt people for days. This is one of those where loners on Dignity's side did not fare well. Waylon Jennings, the MVP for the New Orcland Grunts, didn't even get a block in. He took his moment of
Posthumous
silence.
MVP.
He took his moment of silence and then was struck down by Physique before he could even begin his game. Rez, did you observe anything on the elf sideline?
The elves are basically just snickering to themselves about how they sacrificed a couple of poor journeymen who had no choice but to accept this job to feed their families, and they just sacrificed them to these monstrous orcs. These low elves know what they were doing with these poor journeymen, and it's just truly disgusting the way that they treat them.
Hashtag dignity has none.
Precisely.
So I believe we have Coach Seston in the area. Are we able to get a quick interview?
Sure.
Coach Seston, did you anticipate this kind of aggression from the Orcs coming into this game? There were rumors of the moment of silence to be observed in that, but after the silence was broken, complete chaos broke loose. Did you anticipate things starting off this way?
I actually anticipated this to be a lot nastier. I'm lucky that nobody really got hurt.
So you were anticipating, a nastier game than one death
how about
for the
that
Orcs?
new doctor?
Yeah, my doctor did great. This guy gets a raise.
So you were anticipating a more violent game than this, with
Than
all
this
the
one?
fouling and
Well,
just.
not the actions of violence. This pretty much met that. I was expecting to get more injuries, to have more guys injured. I was really lucky in his injury rolls.
Yeah,
That is true.
It appeared that by the end you were serving up a few elves to distract them, just simply to give them a toy to play with, hoping they would be distracted and not come kill high value players. What triage process did you take deciding who was marched off to their certain doom and who needed to stick around?
Well, Physique took a really hard hit, and I was like, well, there's nobody more valuable than that, so we'll go ahead and use it here. And if anybody as important as him, or I guess royalty is more important than him, if anybody dies, then, well, at least the doctor did his job.
So it appears the coach is happy with the victory. 4-0 is a great outcome for you. Did not match
I think it could have been
6 points.
5-0 if I didn't play chicken and go hide all my guys before that second blitz. Oh well.
But yeah, a solid win. Really, one of those where you kind of got away with no major injuries. The game really appeared more brutal for the fans than it actually was. I don't think that you took any major injuries, and you'll be at full strength for the next game. So congratulations. We'll see if we
Thank
can
you.
get a hold of the Grunts coach, Preach MJ.
Well, I want to say something real quick.
Oh, definitely.
It was royalty's idea to give the ball to the Grunts and then have us skip the rest of our turn. I guess his heart wasn't in it, because that was his worst throw ever.
I did
That
see
is
you
true.
actually did try to throw it to the goblin on the opening turn.
I wanted to make it an impressive pass.
Well, I have to admit, I think instinct or genetics may have kicked in. That
Yeah, he was-
I don't think royalty was even in this moment willing to muster the effort to concede a possible interception and mar his perfect record.
Yeah, it was his idea, but I guess in the last second he was just like, "What am I doing?" and couldn't pull it off.
But
we
yeah,
tried.
no, it was an epic game between two franchises that are well known in the MML. Congratulations on the win.